Call the spaceships to Davenport. Prepare for Divanarchy and interface with a couch in space. First comment award of the day goes to Beta Virus. What's up, Scott? What's up to you there on the pale blue dot, the planet Earth? Terra Firma, or one of a million dirt balls from my port view window, but a very special dirt ball because you're on it. Um, Great to see you again. I'm very, very excited about today's episode. What is up to Ray? I hope you had an awesome birthday. Well, thanks, man. Um, it's not really a year, it's a calendar year so much as I'm moving around the sun, but we figure it out. Speaking of stars in the sky, I want to direct your attention to some celestial audio. This is from our sponsor this week, brand new as always. It's Tiger Squawk Records. You want to check out Amalgamated Cadavers 2. That's me and Deftly bringing some noise. Beta Virus has a new single. I Go to Fight remixes. Casting Curses from science fiction. It's my new favorite science fiction. Batavia Mythos. It's amazing. You want to check out Squawk Jams. We worked so hard on that. I'm so happy with the product. Pixelize from Ghost Proxy, now from the Montreal area. The Church of Bryantology, it's a bunch of free stuff from me. And Anhedonia, much anticipated from Toronto's Aaliyah Synesthesia. Animal Addendum from the Gothicals, tons of remixes. And all the singles from SEGA Lugosi, spanning the week all the way here to Sunday on Space Couch. It is apropos that we end today's advertising reel with SEGA Lugosi because we are going to... Oh, Colin from Sugar Plum Suicide is here. Hey, what's up, buddy? Greetings to Ireland. Let's just get into it because I'm really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, SEGA Lugosi and so much more. Matt, what's going on? What's going on, buddy? No?
I bragged that I wasn't going to say anything to you at all because I had nothing to say to you. So I wanted to start off with silence just to bring that home.
Yeah, it's just us just checking email and playing video games.
I was going to pitch to you that we don't talk to each other for 45 minutes and just sit here in awkward silence because I would think that would be really funny, but it would probably only be funny to us after the fact and people would talk about it, but would get nothing of substance out of it.
Would make for an interesting podcast version, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Shifty's here. What's up, Captain Al? Let's start with the title graphic. 2 new singles from SEGA Lugosi out in the world very recently, following the we'll call it the initial release and days of the week singles prior, all available at segalugosi.bandcamp.com. Let's start from square one here. I'll fill in because it was just sort of this idea of a character I had that you could play back in the old days for the
Gothicals. It's got to be 15, 18 years ago at this point.
A long time. Like, you're not making it up.
I can't remember. I can't remember the first time, but I'm on the first album, but that was even a couple of years after things started. Yeah, I can't remember what my first show was. I rember your first show with Caustic because it was literally the first show.
Yeah, I think you might have been SEGA Lugosi prior to Caustic, but
I may have been because my first show was in 2004 for Caustic.
Okay,
and I bet it was before that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't
so
have
you basically you come on stage in this $2 vampire cape I got at like whatever party store in Madison, and just crush it. We do some tracks, and a couple of years ago you had this idea to sort of spin off the character as like in kind of a VH1 behind the music-y.
Yeah, it was for some reason I thought it was funny because Flavor Flav put out an album at one point, and I actually had to go on Discogs because I'm like, was I right about that? He did actually put an album out in like 2007, and it's terrible. But I think it was that was like Flavor of Love, era or something like that. But I thought it would be really funny if I was like it's kind of like a Sideshow Bob thing.
Right.
Like, I'm sick of being under your bootstraps, man. Under your boots, man. I gotta be free and show my genius. And all this stuff.
Just sort of that move.
Yeah, but I thought it would be really funny if you wrote the music. Partially out of laziness, but partially out of I just think it's really funny that I'm gonna go on my own. But hey, could you help me out with some tracks?
Yeah. Well, it's hilarious, and it's such a funny idea because it blows away any sort of like I think they really do hate each other now. It's sort of like
especially since we haven't had a chance to share the stage that much just because you don't live here and I don't live there.
Right.
So I think Cold Waves was the last time I hopped up for Comedy Code, and so that was a couple of years ago, and which is it just is what it is. But that's what I just thought it was. I thought it was a really funny concept. Plus, I also asked you to write the music because I can't write music like you at all, and so it would just literally sound like Caustic ish stuff,
right?
Plus or minus, or one of my other side projects, which sounds still kind of like Caustic.
Well, we'll get into that. So, what's up to Rex Arcana? What's going on? $2, he says.
Lead Santa.
Lead Santa. Wumpsicles was 2 years ago. Yeah, we'll get into that, dude. So I send you these tracks, and you come back with this audio gold, and then you keep going with this track Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, Taco Tuesday. Yeah, I couldn't come up. I was having part of the problem with the pandemic for me is I've been like working in this little studio, my normal studio, which is this little crap hole, which is fine, but I've also been working here for my job. For my day job. So lyrics have not come to me very quickly, and I was having such trouble coming up with the right lyrics. I had a couple ideas, which I kind of relayed to you as I was going. But Taco Tuesday, I just kind of hit me in one shot. And I wrote the whole thing out probably like 45 minutes, recorded it and sent it to you. And I'm like, look at me. Look how good I am at this. And then when it came out, I think I made a joke that I'm like, I should do one of these for every day of the week. And then I'm like, okay, now I have to do this for every day of the week.
Oh, no.
That's really funny. But using the same track. Using the exact same music for Taco Tuesday. And that kind of falls back on an idea I had for something else for Caustic a long time ago, which I still might do, where I wanted to make a song, an instrumental, and send it to like 20 different vocalists and say, write lyrics to this. And see how different lyricists interpret the music, how they make different songs.
Great.
And so nobody steal that good idea, because I'm probably still going to do it. But it kind of fell into that category of like using the same music, but doing something demonstrably different in it. But it was just doing every day of the week. So I'm glad that some people have gotten it, and I haven't gotten too much confusion, although it should be a little bit because it's a little weird. But I just love coming up with ideas I've never heard of anybody doing and then doing it because I think it's funny.
That is sort of the essence of you to me, is that that fearlessness with the edge of genius, and we will certainly get into that. Shifty says, is there a tally of who has more side projects? I don't know. It's pretty
Brian
close.
has more.
Eric
go
Christopher says, I love
Briantology now.
Yes,
Briantology is nothing but he's got more than I do. Between he and I, we make like the Luxa Panniers look like shit. So Minister, like Al Jorgensen's just trying to come up with some ideas at this point.
We would have to add another day onto the Brian Matt Festival of all the side projects. Eric Christopher says, I love the Wesley Willis X nature of the singles. Hi, Matt and Brian. What's up, dude? Kenneth Moggerman, Sound and Shadows in the house, says Taco Tuesday was gold. Ryan Bates says it's Space Couch Sunday. That's hilarious. Dre, what's up? Says Late Couch. And yeah, it's going to be great. So,
hey.
Let's play just a little clip of one of the new ones. This is Thirsty Thursday.
The weekend can't come fast enough. It's almost here, so what is up? 8 hours to go and then I'm free. Maybe we should start early. Find out where the specials are. 2 for 1s at any bar. I've only got one mission now. Let's get hammered out on the town. Thursday.
Back in. So that was Thirsty Thursday. You can get a calendar's worth of wonderful Sega Lugosi music at segalugosi.bandcamp.com. Currently on Tiger Squawk Records.
Mm-hmm.
But check it out. Space Couch announcement. We are looking at a deal with the esteemed Brutal Resonance for a cassette release of Sega Lugosi. There'll be some classics, some new material.
It started 3 months ago.
It's
Classics.
right, yeah, right. You know, as classic, as literally classic as we can get.
I mean, Taco Tuesday is a modern day classic. I will not deny that.
I
when
remember.
I came up with that. I listened to that a bunch of times. When I'm like, I'm good sometimes. I should rewrite this 6 more times to make sure I'm cashing in appropriately on my one good idea for this project.
It's true. I mean, you know, we'll be coming up on that Headhunter 242. How many tracks were on that? Like 2,000.
There were like 20. I don't know. I Die You Die did a thing on it. They did one of their commentaries on it. It was like 2 hours long or something.
We'll get there. We'll go to
eventually.
The Mayan calendar. So anyway, in addition to those tracks, classics, otherwise will be some new stuff. And that'll be out as soon as we can get it. It's Brutal Resonance is waiting on us. So we'll.
And it's going to be a very limited run, from as I understand. It's not going to be. You might think 10,000 tapes. No, it'll be much less.
It'll be quite a few less. It's really formative right now. Like we're hashing it out like as we speak. Not as we speak, because we're in space right now.
All of our managers are talking. So many people are involved that really, for the amount of money we make with this project, it is not worth it. But it's going to cost us significantly more in legal fees than the profits we'll be making off of the cassette itself.
Well, Rex says it worked for Steve Nagahabi. Ed of Batavia says, see if there are any little new old stock Genesis cart boxes with the packaging. Jeff Miller says T-shirts ? Perhaps all is on the table. It's a pretty new project.
I don't know if I have a good enough logo. It wasn't inspired from anything after all.
We are going to just catapult through genres a bit, a little bit of smash cutting, because I want to get to some things. I would be remiss if we did not touch on the new daddybear out now in the world. This is awesome. The new single features Grab Your Face. How is it working with her?
Marie is fantastic. This is we worked together on my EP from last year, EBDSM, on 2 tracks. And we both kind of agreed that this is awesome. And we're fans of each other, and we had a lot of fun working together. And I mean, I write all the music and all the lyrics, and she just nails it out of the park. And so she's a friend, and I was drawn to her because I found her. I probably found her when she did the Covenant guest spot first, which kind of broke her to a lot of people. And then I found her music, and I figured I was talking about her maybe online, not knowing that Marie was Grab Your Face. I think I was like,
oh, really?
This Grab Your Face album or something. Somehow I was like, wait, this person who's a friend of mine on Facebook, oh, she's the same person. And then we became we just, would chat and stuff, because I think she's incredibly talented. And she's just writes these very raw, intimate, kind of savage songs that are beautiful and just so much emotion in them. And then I was like, hey, I wonder, can you want to jump on a couple tracks for daddybear, which is just me, doing an electro EBM-y kind of sexy thing, but I'm not sexy. So I wanted somebody who is cool and has a great voice to do it. And so, but science fiction, I came up with I had the idea probably several months ago at this point, finally found the music for it and said, hey, do you want to jump on this? And I sent her the lyrics, and she just, bam, knocked it out of the park. And I'm glad people have been enjoying it. It's been doing great. It's been nice to get a little more of a foothold with daddybear, because I love the project, and it's nice to see that more people are recognizing it. And a lot of people don't even realize it's me, which is even kind of better. So
interest. Well, Colin says Grab Your Face and Sugar Plum Suicide have played that Irish goth fest species repeatedly. Is Grab Your Face from Ireland?
She goes to Ireland a lot. She's French.
Oh, she's French. Okay.
She's French, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure of her connection. She goes to Ireland a lot. She has a lot of friends there.
Okay. Well,
but I'm not sure if she has. Yeah, I'm not. I've never actually talked about it with them before, so I don't know. But yeah, I know she's Grab Your Face has played there a bunch of times.
Cool.
So
well, let's take a listen to Science Fiction out now from Daddy Bear. If I could get the. Oh no! Crashing into a black hole!
Science fiction, black eyes, mind bender, not of this earth. I'm science fiction, watch me glow. Body snatcher, you'll never know. You'll never know.
So that was a little bit of science fiction. Super cool. Check that out. Also on Bandcamp, or where should people get Daddy
it's
Bear?
on Bandcamp. It'll be up on other streaming services in the next couple weeks.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to give it a little time on Bandcamp to kind of spread the word and it's pay what you want. So like most
Oh,
stuff
okay,
I do.
there you go.
Initially, I'm probably going to let it be pay what you want for like a month, and then I'll make it $5,000.
All right, sweet. So get that before it goes to 5,000.
5K.
5K.
It's a good. I mean, it's a good track.
It's really good. It's gonna go up to 5K. I would actually invest now. It's gonna be a non-fungible token.
I think it's a good idea, personally.
What differentiates a daddy? Let's go higher level. Daddy Bear the project versus your other stuff.
Daddy Bear is more of an atmospheric mood than so Caustic can go lots of different ways, and Caustic goes both ways. Caustic goes a lot of different ways, and I mean I've jumped around a lot of genres. I mean, if Lady Business is kind of a Daddy Bear track in some ways, if you look, because it's kind of like lower endy, kind of lower BPM, got a little swagger to it, and so Daddy Bear is me just kind of exploring like sexier EBM, it's not aggressive really. I mean, Raw God is an more aggressive track, but for the most part, it's a little bit slower. It's just a little more atmospheric. I'm trying to kind of get some just different vibes off it emotionally. So I keep saying it's sexier, and that's, I mean, no, it comes from that world a little bit more.
Right.
Kind of the boy harshery, even though that wasn't something I was initially thinking of in terms of it, but that kind of world where it's just kind of a lot of reverb on it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and just nice. It's a lot really baseline oriented. It's one of those things where I try to keep it as simple as possible, and that's kind of an overarching thing with me in general. Where you don't have to have 1,000 tracks, or you think about it as a cook. You don't have to have 1,000 ingredients if the ingredients you have in there are already really good.
Yeah.
You can nail it if you know what you're looking for, and you try to just nail every element as it is. You don't need to have 40,000 tracks to 40,000 pieces of the puzzle to make it sound good. So you salt it, a little compression, a little this, a little that, a little here, there, a little everything, and then you end up with something solid. So I'm trying to be as minimalist as possible in some ways with these, but it's hard to do because most of it sounds like crap. But when I finally nail it, I feel really good about it, and I've been really enjoying making Daddy Bear stuff just because it's not me vocally, so I don't have to worry about writing lyrics, and if I do, it's somebody else singing them. Kind of like it was with Beauty Queen Autopsy too, but that was a very different vibe in some ways. At the same time, that was just a much noisier thing, and Erica brings her own spin to everything, so it's very cool in that respect. And I want to get back to that project eventually again too, but we're both parents and busy and have plenty of other things to do in our normal lives and our own music. But yeah, that's the main thing that's different with Daddy Bear.
Cool. Well, yeah, I love that. Like, being very familiar with Caustic and playing in Caustic for many years, there was, you better lick that girl or she licked you, and there's this kind of like, there's always this sort of this back sort of like a very wave, kind of like this like wave pool, this dark wave pool that Caustic music sort of sat on to me, and I think that Daddy Bear stuff sort of, at least for me, kind of allows an exploration of that as the listener. I think that's pretty cool. Size here, what's up, man? when you're writing a track, are you pretty sure that this is going to be a Daddy Bear track, or does that change sometimes?
Most of the time, I'm pretty set.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I've used a couple that I'm like, okay, this. I mean, this it kind of teeters. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Right,
can
right,
just
right.
basically change the drums and make it a Caustic track. I can just
Mm-hmm.
toss more distortion. I mean, Daddy Bear doesn't have a lot of distortion on it. Caustic is just kind of me making it as bombastic as possible, or boombastic if I'm doing my Shaggy stuff. But it's
Timely.
it's very much yeah, it's just using different ingredients. I mean, the same thing
Okay.
happens when Eric's writing Clack and Null Device music. Just to jump into that world a little,
Uh-huh.
Null Device and Clack use very different palettes in some
Okay.
ways. But it's not that hard if I hear a Null Device track, I'm like, hey, can we use that for Clack?
Yeah.
Then he'll just go, okay, boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop,
I know
boop,
the
boop.
guy.
Now it's a Clack. You just got to put a different suit on it real
Okay.
quick, and then it fits. We've only done that a couple times, but it's yeah, it's something that it's got its own palette,
Mm-hmm.
and generally I'm trying to feel that out. And a lot of the Caustic stuff is even slower than Daddy Bear right now, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just where that's just been going.
Well, that's awesome. And speaking of that, let's get into Clack a bit, because
Sure.
Clack, dude, um, it's. I mean, I called the 3-month-old song a classic a little earlier, but Clack is as fully fledged as you're ever gonna get a band. I mean, you topped out the doc, the videos, the successes with the vinyl releases and everything. I think it's been long enough that we can sort of reflect on the success of Clack, or this current state. Like, where does Clack sit in the pantheon of your mind right now?
I mean, it's kind of a side main project now,
Uh-huh.
and
A side main
sometimes,
project?
yeah, I mean, because Clack is kind of in more demand than Caustic, and in terms of like people offering us shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
None of which we're really taking right now. We got something in October here in Madison
Cool.
with Wingtips and Choke Chain, which
Oh,
is
awesome.
banging awesome, yeah. But otherwise, I mean, it's we kind of work on it in between our other stuff and in between Eric's production stuff, and he has a ton of production stuff he does for
Mm-hmm.
mixing and mastering
Yeah,
for other people.
I'm one of them.
So we're trying to finish something now, and it's just basically waiting on me more than anything. So I'm trying to finish some lyrics. And I can't announce what it is, but it's something pretty special.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's for a thing that we literally wrote like one song because we thought it'd be a goofy little one-off, just us messing around. It's blown up into this very much its own thing, and
Yeah.
it's I wouldn't say it's eclipsed anything I've done previously, but I mean in terms of sales, in terms of Bandcamp sales, Clack has done better than Caustic ever has,
Wow.
which is wild, and it's great. I mean it's really nice. Plus, I mean like same thing as working on Caustical stuff with you when we were doing that, and which we do now and again still. It's it's fun to collaborate with people. It's fun not to just have to hold the reins yourself,
Right.
and ride that cattle train. You got to ride the cattle train. I don't know if that means anything, but
I'd ride a
it's nice to
cattle
work-
train.
it's nice working with friends.
Right.
It's fun. That's. And I've never collaborated with anybody that I didn't respect or think was awesome, or didn't think that they're going to bring something unique to the equation. I mean, otherwise I just make my own
Right.
music, right? So it's been fun because Eric and I
Awesome.
always get along. We're in the same area, so we can get together and do stuff. And we just need to power through. We've got a lot of ideas in the works, but we just need to finalize some stuff. And a lot of that is just me, again, having just lyrics are just hard for me right now, and I'm trying to just kind of power through them and stuff like that and get things done. But
That's
yeah,
interesting.
it's been great. And I
Cool,
mean, I
man.
think if there's any strength I have as a creator is that I'm pretty darn good at, and with other people obviously as well because Eric's part of it. But I mean, we just even with Causticals, we came out with a very specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't come out calling something Eric Gottesman as an album with all the just everything with the way we
Right.
designed it and everything we put together just as a collaboration. You don't just most bands come out and you're like, oh, okay, let's see where they go in a couple
Right,
albums.
right.
But with us, I mean, we also had fully fledged ego or alter egos or
Right.
or fully fledged things on ourselves. But it was very much, we had a defined image.
Right. So
And with Clack, we kind of, but it's not always necessarily intentional. But with Clack, the black and white covers, the Do You Clack thing that I think I came up with that,
yeah.
and then it just became then then we play like shows on Twitch, and then everybody's just making puns all over the place, which is amazing, and people are just having fun.
It took
And
off.
it's very much the spirit of the project. So yeah, it's just been great.
Well, speaking of choke chain, Mark Truman says new Daddy Bear is sick.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
And was that how you feel about Clack then, in terms of coming at it sort of fully formed out of the gate, or has that been a process for you?
It kind of, I mean, it kind of is. It's not necessarily me like sitting having branding meetings with myself or Eric, but it was kind of like we just come at it with we know what we want to make. We know our references, we know our viewpoints, so we're coming at it from a very specific angle. And then but as we've done other EPs, we've gone into other territory as well, because we're not going to just put out the same garbage every single time, or the same tracks every single time. I think that's a SEGA Lugosi. But it was something we locked into it. It was an aesthetic that worked, and we just stuck with that aesthetic, building on it, making it a new thing. And then we the titles, the albums are all a little quirky and stuff. And probably, which is our last EP, that was just us making fun of like Pet Shop Boys titles for albums. Because we were just because I think I wrote one song was Everything We Wanted, I think it was.
Okay.
It was very Pet Shop Boysy delivery. And then we're just we just call it the album probably. and then sometimes it takes us a while to come up with something. But Eric pitched that one. I'm like, let's go with it.
That's hilarious.
It's I think a lot of people underestimate their instincts. And I've just done this long enough, and I've come out of, you know this, I came out of an improv background where I did improv for about 15 years before I started doing music. And heavy, like 4 shows, 5, 6 shows a week.
Yeah.
Doing comedy sports here, and then the premise, other things I did here in Madison. But the big thing that taught me was to always question. And that was like the guy, Brian Judkins, who was like our captain, or manager, or whatever, captain, kind of our mentor and things. It was like we'd go through our shows and go, well, why do we do that? Well, because you can't just say, because we always do that. So that's what I do with music too. So I go, hey, I don't think anybody's ever done the same song with different lyrics every single time outside like one of those happy birthday things on Spotify. They just change the name every single time. And the guy, remember this one, made like $10,000 doing that.
Yeah.
Very smart move. But I just love it when I come up with an idea that I don't think anybody's done, nobody I've heard of doing. There's zillions of people in this world, but I think that's the most fun, is when we come up with something that I haven't seen and just go, hey, let's do that because it's ridiculous.
Well, that's amazing. You queued me up for the question, so I just got excited. But I was going to ask you, because you've always just exuded this fearlessness. And is it? I was going to ask you about trusting an instinct. Is that where it comes from? Like, I have this idea.
The improv thing, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Because you go with your first idea and you just roll. And with music, obviously you have more time to develop it, more time to think it. But when I come up with an idea for a song that I'm like, this is a funny idea. Like, I don't care if anybody else thinks, I think this is hysterical, and I think I'm a funny person, and people can disagree with me all they want, and I don't think they will, because I'm pretty funny. But it's like,
you are.
And you get to the point. I'm at the point where I go, nobody can do what I do.
Yeah, that is true.
But nobody can do what you do.
Well, to an extent. But like your instincts are so good. Like, if we go way back, just because I was there when it happened, you decided to do a whole track yelling like "Pya,"
Yeah.
and it doesn't even stop at music, because you were the first guy I know to jump on this newfangled thing called Kickstarter, or the first dude I know to come up with like an iPhone app, if you remember the Caustic iPhone app, just went whole hog on the streaming video with the little car roasts, the industrial facts that you did. That was a hilarious series. So, is it this idea that I'm going to start with music and carry that out into the world, or is it all sort of part of the same ongoing idea?
it's all part of the same
Okay.
ongoing idea. It's just having fun.
Okay.
I mean, the industrial gossips thing was a Kickstarter
Industrial gossip.
Kickstarter like thing, and
Okay.
I unfortunately took a really long time to do it because I was just like, you want to, people pay you money, you don't want to screw it up. And then I posted one of them online, and then people were like, "Oh, that's amazing!" So I'm like, "All right, I guess I got a thing I'm going to do." And my only problem with that, which is why I haven't done more of them, is that I need to like get a spreadsheet together and write out everything I've already said.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I hate repeating myself.
Yeah.
SEGA LUGOSI, which is that's a very specific kind of repeating yourself.
Yeah, it's an intentional thing.
That's taking a joke to a different level. I don't know if it's meta or not, but it's just taking to a joke to a different level and doing a different kind of joke. But I hate repeating myself. I hate like when I'm DJing. I'm DJing on Twitch. I know you think you want to touch on that anyway, but I
yeah, that's great.
Do not want to play the same set.
Okay.
And I'll play some song combinations, months apart that I played before, but I want to play something different every single time. I want to surprise people every single time. But sometimes that might even be at the detriment of my sets, because it's like, why don't I just play all these bangers again? Because people love these bangers. But I want to play this like kind of slightly less known banger or something I like that'll just be fun. And I will play a Fear of a Black Hat song during my hip hop sets because that's hysterical to me. And the people that get it, but it's all just trying to challenge myself to come up with new ideas, which is why some of the t-shirts have been great. The sure like 9 Inch Nails shirt was, I didn't think anybody was even going to get that, but everybody, I underestimated people's intelligence levels because that blew up and people thought that was really funny. And I'm like, oh, cool. Because I had that idea, but I'm kind of like, sometimes my ideas are like a little too out there. I mean, what I don't share with people is probably for the best sometimes.
Well, self-editing is a great set skill. It's not just like I'm gonna just throw all this stuff out in the world. You gotta kind of have a feel.
You gotta have an inner. Yeah, you have to go with your instincts, but also know when your instincts are not that great. And you blow ideas sometimes, and sometimes they don't turn out as well as you want, and you just kind of go, all right, whatever. Like who cares?
Right.
I mean, it's not, to me, it's not fearlessness. It's just the fact that so many people, in any genre, I'm not trying to rag on industrial or whatever. So many people are set in their box and are too scared to step out of themselves and out of what they think they should do for people to accept them to do it. And I think to an extreme in a sense as well, totally. And I mean, Goddessman as well. This is why I hold you guys close to my heart in so many ways. You guys do what you want, and through tenacity. We've all gotten respect in our scene by other artists and by viewers or fans over the years. But we've talked about this, I think, on my podcast when I had my podcast forever ago, just how hard it was to get people to even like take what we did seriously.
It was and you'd look out into the audience and just these. You're already laughing because you know where I'm going with it. Just this,
I know,
this mix of horror, a dusting of hatred, confusion.
This isn't what it's supposed to be,
right?
I likened us, and I think I've used this example before. I likened us to the alternative comics in the '90s. Like who were playing in like bars and not playing clubs, and then all of a sudden the alternative comics become the thing everybody loves.
Right.
The Patton Oswalts, the David Crosses, the Janine Garofalo's, all of them. So we've kind of taken over the asylum in some small way. I'm not, because there's still plenty of shit I hate out there, but it's not fearlessness. It's just going, I'm going to listen to my gut. This isn't my life. This isn't my living. I'm going to make the music I want. I'm going to do the ideas that I want. Luckily the humor thing's always worked out for me. Same with you in that sense. But you stick to your guns, man. It's just, I get so frustrated when I hear a lot of music, and this is not specific to any scene. That is just so cookie cutter and so. I'm like, have I heard this metaphor 70 billion times before in punk?
Right.
Have I heard this? And I listen to a lot of punk. So if I've heard this in this, I'm like, seriously, are we not past Downward Spiral?
Right.
Are we not? Are we not past? Are we not past Combi Christ? Everybody Hates You. Are we not past A23 Defiance? And that's not trashing the bands that originally made those. That's just saying they became templates, and those templates
Right.
got tired real fast, and people are just like, why aren't we breaking out more in our scene? It's like, because A, the production's not great most of the time, and B, who's surprising anybody?
Who's surprising anybody? Well, you, man.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm a cult weirdo in the scene. I'm the one. I'm the cult weirdo that, like, you know, I can do good on Bandcamp Friday, but I mean, what you just see people spitting daggers at Youth Code and Three Teeth and even Aesthetic Perfection, and I mean, and all that music not necessarily always for me. I'm not just saying them. I'm just saying any of the ones that are bigger. It's not always for me, but it's like, I'm like, they found a formula, dude. They're making it work.
I think that's great. Well, let's get into that a bit vis-a-vis your DJ sets. I wanted to ask you about that. You've been so active with them, the Pajama Jammy Jam and the 80s night and so forth. How's this experience been for you? And how does the sort of the mechanical change of the online set, does that impact your set in any way?
It's been a lot. I mean, for DJing, it's been great because, I mean, it gave me an excuse to DJ a lot. Like, I mean, I used to DJ regularly at the old club that was here in Madison, Inferno, you know, once maybe twice a month, and now I can DJ as many nights a week as I feel like and have time for. And I was doing 2 to 3 nights a week, and what's been great is it's really allowed me to learn the software, and I mean, and just get those hours in to become a much better DJ.
Oh yeah,
oh God. I'm such a better DJ now.
Awesome.
And I mean, it's nice. And it gave me an opportunity to find a lot of new music on Bandcamp. And then I started doing my retro nights just because that's the music I grew up with, and that's the music I just love to play. So that's just fun for me and it gives me an excuse to, like, look back on stuff that I've forgotten about or stuff I didn't listen to because at that time you still had to buy CDs and go to the store, and I was a poor college student or just forgot.
Right.
And so it's given me an opportunity to really just go back to the music I love. And for the Pajama Jammy Jam is just going into, which is an old school, like, hip hop, New Jack Swing, old school dance party type thing. It's given me an opportunity just to play a different kind of music that I've never DJ'd before. I mean, I DJ parties like that sometimes. I remember doing when Bill and Scary Mike lived together. I remember doing an all hip hop thing at one of their parties DJing. That was just for fun, you know. So it's just given me an opportunity to go back and appreciate a lot of music and realize, like, how that music's influenced me in my life.
Cool.
Just a lot of old hip hop and just breaks and things like that. So it's just been fun.
For Caustic music, you're saying, or just?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you listen, I mean, I do a lot of I have a lot of breaks and stuff, and that's also Meat Beat Manifesto, but also where did Meat Beat Manifesto get it from in the 80s? You know. So it's very much. It was definitely nice. I was doing it out of my garage, so it was kind of like almost a different world. So when you're stuck in your house for the whole pandemic, just going into a different room that you don't normally spend that much time in, it was like an opportunity just to stay out of the house, to just jump around, to talk to some people online, and
Showcase
to
Penguin.
make a little bit of money doing it. But mostly it's just for spreading the love of the music and introducing people to some new stuff when I was doing Body to Body, and I'll come back to do that. I just needed a break.
Hell yeah!
So I'm just, but mostly, it's been great. I'm the best DJ I've ever been. So
that's awesome. Well,
and I started in the late '90s. I started at the Cardinal. So,
the Cardinal.
I think you guys used to sneak in there.
We used to
before
sneak
you were
into
21.
the Cardinal under 20 at because Tuesdays were the industrial night in Madison, Wisconsin. It blew my mind.
They did a garbage job carding. So I remember seeing all you guys in there.
Oh yeah,
21.
Because you could hear like Stromkern outside of your dorm room, which at the time blew my mind. Because like a lot of industrialites, I'll say, like, you grew up in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. You're one of 5. Or whatever it is, tops. And then you get to college and you find Matt, and he ruins your life.
What I'm here for.
Kidding. Well, now I got to know what is Caustic listening to right now?
Honestly, I'm listening to some, like, a lot of old stuff. A lot of old punk. I don't listen to nearly as much music as I should be, though. Like there's the artists I like listening to in our scene. But I mean, I've listened to a lot of punk. I just listen to a ton of podcasts.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too.
A lot of books on tape. A lot of not books on tape. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Books like audio.
Right, yeah, right.
Books on tape. Because it's
Yeah.
1992.
Yeah.
It's and a lot of audio stuff, because I'm working on my own stuff, but I go back to like influences and things that I like. But when I'm working on my own stuff, I just don't listen to as much, because I'm just trying to get my ideas out.
Yeah, no.
And when I'm with the kids in the car, I mean, I don't have any control
Right.
whatsoever over the music, so I have to listen to like the Descendants soundtrack, which is not the Descendants punk band; it is a Disney thing.
Okay.
So.
Oh wow, it's come full circle.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. But it's great. It's whatever. I don't hate any of it. It's fine. It's just whatever it's gonna be. But I've listened to Hamster Dance 75,000 times in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, it's so I'm listening to a lot of what I do like. The stuff I do like is like Sierra stuff, like in that kind of, I don't want to say bass music, but it's kind of bass music, because bass music has a pretty wide. I mean, that's everything from Morris Black, who's obviously just becoming
Boston.
like just a huge thing in there. But a lot of female producers that are finally coming to the forefront, because they should be, and a lot of hard EBM without vocals and stuff. That's what the whole body to body thing I was doing was just a lot of harder EBM but more chill stuff now. So like the new thing that Mike Trevolotti's doing, Ed Flesh, is awesome.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's only got a couple tracks out, but it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, well.
So just real bassy, kind of slower BPMs and stuff. So
Cool,
that's kind of been inspiring me.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Ray says dad life. Oh. Yeah, all the dads are chiming up. Let me ask you about that. Fatherhood. How do you balance being an industrial superhero with the family man life?
I don't sleep ever anymore. My sleep schedule is so jacked, because I work during the day, like a lot of people, and but I don't go to sleep till real late, and it's been rough, to be honest. But it's good. I mean, my kids are awesome. My wife is amazing and still very tolerant of me. But I mean, now it's like I don't tour, because I can't really tour.
Right.
And I mean, I'll talk about it, and like it's like it'd be nice, but it's not something I can't just jump in a van and take 2 weeks like we've done before and stuff like that, because it just doesn't work that way anymore.
Right.
I mean, in terms of things, that's why I try to play festivals more often and bigger events, just because I want to make it worth my time. Because as much as I love playing to smaller crowds, which is what Caustic is always drawn, and that's But I mean, smaller crowd. If I can bring 100 people, and I'm
sounds
gold,
great to
right?
me, man.
Yeah, no complaints. I mean, some of my favorite shows, I mean, we've talked about this, like we played to like 20 or 30 people, and it's been the most fun ever.
Absolutely.
So
those are the ones you talk about.
Yeah, we were talking about that Green Bay show that we did, the crazy ass Green Bay show, which was funny. I don't know if you saw that, but I posted a picture of it because somebody, maybe Scott posted it up, and then the dude from the opening band, who knows you, I guess, or one of the bands the band that played after us, which I forgot a band even played after us, and he's like, yeah, it was crazy because it was such a weird mixed bill, because it was a rock band, and he's like, yeah, and I knew Brian, but I didn't know that he was playing it, or else he met you later or something. Anyway, it was just really funny to talk about that, and like kind of reminisce with like something from like 2006 or whatever.
Oof.
But it's yeah, but no, being a dad's amazing, and it's I mean, it makes things take a little bit longer sometimes. But if I lock a track, I lock a track. I can't just sit in here for like 5-10 hours on a Sunday while my wife's doing something else. I mean, I got to be around, but it's great.
Cool, man.
It doesn't always work out as well as you want it to either way.
Yeah.
But you gotta you gotta go where your passions are and try and do stuff, and but also, you gotta be there for your kids.
Yeah.
And my kids are awesome. I love them.
That's great to hear, man.
It's good, yeah.
Well, let's talk about locking a track. We'll cycle back to Caustic. Consolidated remix. That's cool, man. Let's I want to make sure we get to it because it's pretty banging. Let's play a little bit of that consolidated remix.
It's the God you bow down to every day. It's who you curse when shit doesn't go your way. It's supposed to do the things that you don't want to do. Makes all your life drudgery easier for you. It's where you work, it's where you play, it's where you measure.
And all right, so that was a little taste of the consolidated remix. Clack remix exists as well.
Hmm.
Um, Congrats, man. Tell me about how this came about.
Um, Mark Pistol of Consolidated did the mastering on American Carrion, which is my last full length release that I put out
Awesome.
on January 1st at midnight, 2018. So it's been a couple of years since I had a full album. So I knew him a little bit through that, and I wouldn't say we're friendly for sure.
Mhm.
We were good acquaintances. We don't party together, but. No, I was talking to him. I forget if he approached me or I approached him. I think I approached him because I knew he was getting some remixes done because we had talked about something, and I just threw out there that, I mean, if you're looking for remixes, I just offered Clack up because Clack is kind of the band du jour that I'm in right now. And he said, "Yeah, that sounds cool. I can send you a couple tracks." I'm like, "Would you mind if I did a Caustic remix too?" Because he was obviously familiar enough with Caustic
Yeah,
because he
sure.
mastered the album, and he was super cool about it. So we did. So Eric does all the music for Clack. So he
Okay.
does the remixes as well, and he bounces them off me for ideas, and maybe do some samples or something like that. But I just threw together a remix as well, which was just an absolute honor. And I was part of the thing that Def Leppard put together, the Consolidated tribute album,
Yes.
and I did the song Consolidated by Consolidated for it, and of course Joseph, our pal Control Shift, was in there too, and a bunch of others, Dre, a ton of great people, which was the kind of the impetus for them even getting back together. So that was
Yeah, that was
cool.
cool.
What an honor that is to be to basically say give them a reason to get back into a room together. And so yeah, I just kind of asked. I mean, I've been always a giant proponent of it never hurts to ask, because if they say no, you just go okay.
Yeah.
But he said yeah, and he was very cool about it, and I was happy they released it, and they said they liked it, and so that's it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's so funny you bring that up. I got this move from you. I remember that philosophy of just asking.
Yeah.
Specifically vis-a-vis the Combi Christ KMFDM tour. People are like, how'd you get that? I asked him. I just had
Yeah.
Chris Connolly do guest vocals on a Gaston
Dude.
Invertebrate, and my
Dude.
buddies are like, "Give me the story. How'd you? Did you save his son's life from a burning car wreck?" No, I emailed him. Like,
I think I emailed him forever ago, but this was before he started kind of doing cocksure and came back. This was like, I think I even emailed him on Bacula Capra. So that was Discourse stuff, right? And he I think he emailed me back. He says, "Oh, no, thank you." It's very polite. He's a very nice guy. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, you lucky bastard!" That's so great. Because I played a show. We did a show with Cocksure. Caustic did a show with Cocksure, and I got to spend a little time with him. And he probably doesn't remember who I am, which is fine. But a very nice guy, and that's just baller move on your part. I was very I was jealous on that one. So that was very cool. That was a good get, man. That was a good get.
Well, I learned it from watching you. All right.
But I didn't get it done though. So
well, but I mean, that particular case made out of Sauté and you found, but like just your sort of engine has always been very inspiring to me, and it's where I draw a lot of getting all sort of my empire off the ground. So thank you for that sort of energon cube of interest. What is next? I was the question I had written down is what's next for the mighty Caustic, but I'm sure you have other gigs and any sort of number of projects.
That's what I'm working on the most right now. I've been putting together for my Patreon and for my Bandcamp subscribers. I've been basically putting together demos this whole year for the new album, which may or may not end up on the album. But I've been really concentrating on getting a sound that I like, and I'm feeling really good about it. But again, the lyrics have been the things that have been really eluding me so far. But the music's been fantastic. I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
I sent Eric a couple tracks, and he said it sounds like Distorted Tricky.
Nice.
So
it's
a trip in terms of styles, and I made a comment on, I think it was Facebook. I just said I'm basically going for, and it doesn't sound like each of them individually, but the sound of like Techno Animal versus Bomb Squad versus
Ooh.
Tricky. So I'm doing a lot of layering. I'm doing a lot of sample. I was never a person who would sample other music to put it in there, unless it was very subtle or very hard to identify, and it still is because I don't want to get sued. But I'm doing a lot of sampling of things that mean things to me and putting them in there, including even on a track I sampled, which I don't know if the track will ever come out. I can't even honestly remember which track it was because I put together a lot of demos. I sampled some of Urethral, which is you had found for me, which is my initial, the first track. You can find it on my I Am on Fire, like Mega Flamer edition or whatever. But it's like literally the first song I wrote, and I sampled some of the first song I wrote and was just kind of mixing it in, very subtly. Nobody's gonna be able to see it, but it was trying to kind of build the I don't know, the soul of the music a little bit, trying to really go places I haven't been and just not giving myself any rules. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sample whatever the garbage I want to sample. I'm gonna have to warp it enough so I don't get sued. And I'm not going to get, none of this is going to be big enough to.
Right.
This is not a whatever Old Town Road here. This is just me being weird, but it's been a lot of fun.
Cool.
Because I'm trying not to write like I used to.
What do you mean?
Just because, which is both good and bad, because people might expect me to come out with another White Knucklehead Fucker, another fascist beat, but I mean, there's still the elements there. It's still me. Mm-hmm. But I'm also writing it, 74 BPMs right now.
So are you thinking this is going to be a full length, or is that not? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've done it. I mean, I've done a bunch. I did like two or three EPs last year. One was just a couple Patreon tracks that I added another track onto. And then two, I did like a real hard EBM, like the King of EBM EP. And then I did later on, what the hell was the other one I did? Succession of repetitive beats. So which was a little more subtle. There's a lot of EBM-y stuff, which was super fun. And it's I can't wait to do a couple of those things live because I think it's gonna be great. But I mean, this might be one of those albums, kind of like Trail of Vomit, where it's a lot more personal. Okay. Which is also why I think the lyrics are coming hard to me, because I'm trying to go for this weird honesty that's not always easy to put out, but also it's a lot more internal and a little slower. And I mean, the thing is, it's a couple of songs sound like just like earth moving rhythmically. It's just so big and distorted. I think it's freaking cool sounding.
Cool, man.
But who knows? I don't know if anybody's gonna like it. I kind of don't care. I mean, I care.
Awesome.
You always care.
You always care.
You care, but you don't care because you just got like, this is my thing. This is what I want to do. People are gonna follow me whether they're not. And luckily, with my stuff, I jump enough genres or subgenres or sub-subgenres that people kind of know to kind of expect what they're going to get is what could be what they're going to get.
As much, yeah.
Well, so, but it's going to be cool. I can self-release it. I can release it on a label. I can do whatever the hell I want.
You certainly can.
I'm Matt fucking Fanale. So and sometimes I have to remind myself of that because you still have your imposter syndrome. But I've been very fortunate to do what I do. Just as you have, I think, and I think you appreciate these things as well.
Very appreciative.
That you figured out a way to make it work.
Well, let's do a flyby on your Patreon real quick. We go to patreon.com/caustic.
Caustic Music.
Caustic Music. Everybody check that out. I'm on it. The pound for pound, it is an amazing Patreon. The amount of material you get for pennies on the dollars is quite singular. How are you finding the Patreon experience?
It's been fun. Honestly, for the last couple of years, I felt like I wasn't doing enough.
Really?
I mean, you release a track a month, and that's nice. But I want to, depending on what level people pledge at. But I haven't released a ton of merch because we had a pandemic and we had all this other stuff. So I've been having more fun trying to opening up about my process a little bit more. And being just honest about that with folks, which is kind of liberating in a sense. But I mean, I'm not one of those people who shies away from being honest on any medium or in person. But it's so it's been fun going through the process of this album that I'm working on, because I have a name for it and all those kind of things already, and I've had an idea for it for a long time. But it's been fleshing out how I want to approach that. Okay. And so this year it's been a lot of fun because I really enjoy. I mean, sometimes, you're putting together a track a month. Sometimes it doesn't. You're kind of like, it's mostly there, but I also need to get this out in time. And so I've never really been like, ugh, I put out a really bad track this month. But I mean, sometimes they do feel like pretty glorified demos. But the stuff I'm writing now feels like a lot more finished.
Interesting. All right.
Songs, which is funny because they're literally first step of the process, because I'm going to work with. I'm bringing in new people on this one because I've worked with Eric Ayler, of course, on like pretty much everything.
Hell yeah.
Past decade of mine. He mixes my stuff. He masters my stuff. The only reason Mark Pistol did the mastering on the last one is because I needed it mastered for vinyl, and Eric hadn't had as much experience there yet. But now he's mastered all our Clack stuff for vinyl, so he's great.
Awesome.
But anyway, but I'm bringing in Brant Showers from Damon and Solve on this one.
All right.
Which is because Damon and Solve are amazing sounding, but the vibe I'm going for actually kind of works within kind of what they're doing.
Good call.
It's very much my own, but it's also got that kind of dark, kind of those clouds hanging over it in some ways vibes. So he's gonna help out in that when I finally get things done. But he's actually from here. He and Nancy, his wife, who's the other half of Damon, she actually, where I used to live, you remember my old house, she lived like 4 blocks. She grew up 4 blocks in there. And he grew up in Stoughton, so they're like 20 minutes from me now.
That's awesome.
So it's bonkers fortunate because they're great people, so we get to hang out and they get to play in Madison now, so I can actually see them perform because I love them. And but Brant's also just a monster on production.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And this is kind of what he does. And so when you have Eric and Brant at your disposal, you don't waste that.
Hell yeah, that's cool, man.
I mean, my production is, I'm happy with my production skills, but they're definitely working on those levels where they'll post things and I'll watch a YouTube video. I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck people are talking about here. So this is why I pay other people sometimes.
Fellow Wisconsinite Hal Krosno of Paralyze says it's a very thick Patreon. So
oh yeah, Hal needs to get some more Paralyze out. But he's been working on other stuff too. So.
Yeah, this whole thing is actually an intervention for you, Hal, to put up more.
Hal, I think he and Mark are going to do some stuff.
Oh, awesome!
Some Cheney Paralyzed stuff, which is bonkers awesome. So, but yeah, I think it's nice here. Actually, falling into that is that we have a lot of good bands here again. Like we had like in the early 2000s, it was like we had nothing but it was. And this is when we were still small.
Yeah, it was a crazy time.
Stromkern, Aniride Psychosis. We had Stochastic Theory, is what you weren't blew up. We had Sensuous Enemy with Null Device. Yeah, Null Device is now finally getting their due. Plus Control Shift, plus Sensuous Enemy. Like
there's
so much good
music. Kids, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gentleman Loser. We had so many like just very unique Beta Virus, of course.
Yeah.
Unique bands here, and then some in Milwaukee too, but Madison was just hopping. And then a lot of people moved away and kind of quieter, and then it's like, so I'm like, okay, well, it's a couple bands, and I'm like, am I the big band now? That's weird. that shouldn't be at all, because Stromkern's still the big band, but now we're starting to find our ground again in Wisconsin as a whole.
Hell yeah, man.
And I put out the Halo 2020 compilation for that, just to introduce people to all the new stuff that was out here.
That's so
and
cool.
Some very established stuff, but some brand new stuff too. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's been really cool.
Well, we will catch you live with Milwaukee's own Choke Chain and Wingtips. When's that show?
That's the second Saturday in October.
Cool, man. That's at.
So that'll be yes. That's Clack. Choke Chain, Clack, Wingtips, Crucible.
Everybody check that out.
Which I mean, you were the
amazing.
Last bands to
it's
perform.
Giant.
We were like the last bands to perform there before everything shut down. You were there on the Friday. Then Clack did this show Saturday. Then literally everything shut down.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, we close venues. Well,
we kill them.
Yeah, we just kill them dead. Speaking of closing out, we are going to bring this flying couch back on into the station shortly. Oh, we covered so many planets and solar systems on this episode. You want to check out the new daddybear with Grab Your Face. You want to check out the new SEGA Lugosi. Both of those are on Bandcamp. You want to check out the consolidated remix. Stay tuned for Pajama Jammy Jam and Body to Body. A Clack all over the place. Unstoppable. Specifically with the live show coming up. And we'll just keep our ears to the digital ground for that new Caustic.
I'm thinking, I'm not sure if it would fit on the album, so I might actually be putting out a single in the next couple months for Caustic, like an actual big in the style that I'm working in now thing.
You heard it here first on Space Couch.
Possible, because
Possible.
I'll feel bad if I don't do it now. But I've got some lyrics coming together.
Well,
and it's,
we are in a
it's-
space-time
it's-
vortex, so if it doesn't happen, we can blame it on that.
Yeah, we can do that.
But if it happens, it happens. Thank you so much for your time today. I know you're a busy man, but
Absolutely, man.
we will. I'll see you in October when you officiate my wedding.
Yes.
So looking forward to that, and I'll be great. All right, catch you around, man.
All right, love you, brother.
Love
Thanks
you
for
too.
having me.
All right,
Yeah.
and we'll go to the outro here. That in my own Patreon, you can get on the credits here with the outro. Thank you for answering my Patreon questions a while back. But, good episode, man. Thank you.
That was fun. Thanks for having me.
A lot of fun. And I'll send you the links to the podcast version. All
So,
that.
so this is a podcast too.
Yeah, I podcast it. I think 2 people listen.
I shared.